This week's episode is brought to you by the Year of a Million or So Limited Time Cadets. Send an email to communicoreweekly@gmail.com with your name, address, and birthday so you too can be part of the celebration.
Communicore Weekly. Come on and get geeky with Bible round boats and five-legged goats. Communicore Weekly. You might get some freaking. You waited all week. I'm sure you already know this. Greatest online
Hello and welcome to Communicore Weekly, the greatest online show and home of the world's first pair of independently born identical twins. I'm George.
And I'm Jeff. And I'm also tired.
Of...
In general?
Oh, are we doing that back and forth? We each say one word?
Oh, do you want to do that?
To
Like,
finish the
will we do a
sentence?
story?
We do the whole episode that way.
That'd be confused. Let's just
That
try
would be
with one thing right now.
very-
All right, I'll start. Are you ready?
Yes. The blue
Dog
went
to
see
a
doctor.
because
She
wanted
to
check
on
her.
measles.
Boom! Nailed it. And we
And
made
I
it Disney
tied it-
related because
I
there's
tied it
measles in
back to
Disneyland.
Disney. Oh yeah.
Man, that was the weirdest one ever.
That's okay.
I don't
we
even know how we got on that topic.
I don't either, because I think you said you're so tired, and I said of.
It worked
It's
out
like
well.
everything we do that's so brilliant, it just happens.
That's right, guys. We're nothing like tooting our own horn. That's what we do here on Communicore Weekly. Tooting our own horn since 2012. On that note, maybe we should get into the history segment.
It's time for Disney History.
When planning Disneyland, Walt always wanted various forms of transportation on display, not only as a way to move people, but also to add life and energy and movement to an area. Now, Main Street had the omnibuses and the jitneys, Adventureland had the Jungle Cruise boats, Fantasyland had the Skyway, Casey Jr. and the canal boats, Frontierland had the keel boats, the Stagecoach and the Pack Mules, Tomorrowland had the Autopia and the Tomorrowland boats, which were later renamed the Phantom boats. And, the additions of the Submarine Voyage and the Matterhorn and the monorail signaled a change in 1959 and led to the Tomorrowland on the Move of 1967.
Yeah, so of course, almost every plan of Disneyland, even the Mickey Mouse Park that was planned for Burbank, had a steam train encircling it. And it's obvious that transportation was important to Walt, not only for nostalgic purposes, but also for showing off future technologies. And with the opening of Walt Disney World, the amount of transportation options would increase dramatically and include a larger monorail loop, lots of side wheelers, which we've talked about before, steamboats, and lots of personal water recreational craft.
Like Bob Arounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to deny that the 1964-65 New York World's Fair had a tremendous effect on Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Because not only do we see the advancement of audio animatronics, but we get the Small World boats and the People Mover system out of it. So not only does Disneyland have a monorail, but they get a brand new People Mover system as well.
Transportation was integral to Walt's early discussions of Epcot Center and Disney World. Most day visitors and vacationers would park their cars in a gigantic parking lot and not see their car again until they were leaving Walt Disney World. Monorail would whisk you to Epcot Center, one of the business parks maybe, or the theme park area. And then you would take the People Movers to different shopping districts, the hotels, or the park/recreation areas that they were going to build. Eventual plans for Walt Disney World, after Walt's passing of course, called for People Movers to transport people from the Lake Buena Vista townhomes to the Village Marketplace, the new business center they had built, as well as the Ticket and Transportation Center.
So sometime in the spring of 1974, Walt Disney Productions set up the Community Transportation Services Company, or CTS for short. And according to the press information released at the time, interest in mass transit systems was increasing with the onset of the gas shortage and problems with traffic in cities. And the inaugural president of the CTS, John Wise, had this to say about CTS.
The company will research the feasibility of installing our systems wherever we're invited to, taking into consideration traffic patterns, costs, population, etc. We can make recommendations and advise on the installation of our systems as required. It's a whole new field for us, and it's an exciting challenge.
So we jump forward to a 1975 magazine designed by CTS to sell their product to municipalities and private businesses. And here's what they had to say about themselves. Long recognized as the innovators, in quotes, in people handling, the Disney organization has been frequently queried by domestic and foreign cities, airports, and shopping centers, and other governmental and private parties interested in applications of the company's monorail and Wedway people mover systems. Community Transportation Services is pleased to offer the talents of the highly experienced Disney transportation team to organizations concerned with the planning and development of public transportation systems.
So, potentially realizing that the cost of installing a monorail would be too cost prohibitive for most cities, CTS looked at marketing and selling their concept of modular cars, similar to the Wedway people movers. Drawing on the broad experience obtained in producing 4 generations of monorail systems, Community Transportation Services has developed a modular car concept which promises to make the Disney systems extremely flexible and economical. They continue saying that making the use of a basic set of parts, which can be configured in a variety of ways, the modular car concept will have favorable impact on manufacturing as well as the operation of systems. The inherent building block characteristics will permit CTS to meet a wide range of capacity requirements, from 6-passenger single vehicles to 250-passenger trains.
The document continues with more information about the vehicles, and it says, the equipment and interior design of the modular car systems will be offered in many variations to suit individual requirements. Design considerations such as power, control, air conditioning, and basic seating arrangements will be keyed to the different modular concepts. Although emphasis has been placed hereon upon modularizing monorail configurations, Community Transportation Services is capable of employing other chassis designs, such as surface guideways, to the same modular body concept. Our staff and facilities also provide total capability in the planning, development, installation, and operation of the entire customized car systems.
Of course, Disney released a few more brochures and PR items about Community Transportation Services. But how come we're not all riding people movers everywhere that we go, you know? In addition to the hoverboards that we didn't get,
2015 is not over yet.
Oh, that's true. It's not. Okay, say. Well, CTS actually sold one people mover system, and that was to the former Houston Intercontinental Airport in 1981. And it was known as, or I guess it's still known, as an inter-terminal train. It's located 1 floor below the baggage claim areas within the 5 terminal facilities at the airport. The system employs 2 separate tracks to transport passengers between terminals A, B, C, D, and E.
The tops of the vehicles have openings, and there are speakers along the track that make announcements and, warning messages. And as promised, the Wedway system has had a 99% reliability rate. Sadly, it's disappointing that we haven't seen more Wedway people movers outside of Disney theme parks. There's not much else written about the CTS, so there's an assumption that the division was folded into Wed or dropped when Eisner took over. So, does anyone out there have any idea what happened? Because we have no idea what happened. We would love to know what happened to the CTS and, all the people working for them.
Yeah, we know that it was originally located at Imagineering in Glendale until 1979, and after that was listed as being in Lake Buena Vista in Florida, and then we just don't have any more information. So,
and then it disappeared into the time stream.
We're not sure which time stream. If you happen to catch CTS in one of your time streams, please let us know. Give us a call on the Communicore Weekly Hotline at 424-785-4628. That's 424-785-GOAT, and tell us if you've ever gotten the chance to ride the Wedway people that's at the, I guess it's now the George Bush Airport in Houston, Texas.
He's a nerd, he's a geek, but we all like to hear him speak. So listen up to the words from his speech. It's George's Book of the Week.
This week's book is The Mickey Mouse Reader, edited by Gary Apgar. So this book was released in 2014, and clocks in at 417 pages. So it's a big book, but it's not quite as large as the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World, which in 2015 had 864 pages. Twice the size. Also, the last 100 pages or so of the Mickey Mouse Reader is dedicated to notes and a few of the original language articles that Gary Apgar had collected, because some of the articles were in French or German, and he translated them into English, but has a full article in the back for...
Do you speak any of those languages?
Yeah, French and German.
Do you?
Yeah.
Can you read those languages?
I can read French.
Really?
Yeah.
The more you know. I had no idea.
Ik verstehe nicht.
I'm just going to assume you said Jeff is the greatest person ever and allow me to go on with the book review. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay, we will. So, okay. There are about 70 essays in the book that span Mickey's entire career, basically from 1928 to the present, or actually about 2012. Some of the essays are just a few paragraphs, and a few are several pages. As I mentioned, the essays covers all of Mickey's career, or his life as it is, so it's a very interesting read. And they're broken down by time period and offer some truly amazing insights into his metamorphosis, as well as the Disney Company. And here's a breakdown of the chapter so you get a good idea of what's happening. They do the early years from 28 to 31, into the realm of high art, from 1932 to 33. You're the Top, which is a chapter all about me and Jeff, from 34 to 35. Yeah, I know I had to put that in there. Glory Days in Color, 36 to 39. And then World War II and into the 70s covers 1941 to 1977, because we all know there wasn't a lot of activity from Mickey Mouse during that time period. Then you've got The Nostalgia Begins from 78 to 89, and Into a New Millennium from 1991 to 2012. So they do have a really great coverage of Mickey's career, broken down by the time periods. The articles are reprinted from various magazines like Time, Film Daily, the London Film Society, the New York Times, Look, and
where am I looking?
Look was like People magazine of the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Basically, which is kind of neat. And the magazine, the Harvard Crimson. So, hey, you get a little highbrow there.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the more well-known authors, Walt Disney, of course, penned a few articles that they reprinted.
Who's that? Why am I interrupting everything you're saying in this book review? I am so sorry.
And you said you were tired, too.
I know.
I expected more snores. So, okay, so we've got E.M. Forster, Frank Nugent, no relation to Ted, Irving Wallace, Lillian Disney, Maurice Sendak, John Colhane, Anna Quindlen, Stephen Jay Gould, who's a noted anthropologist, Charles Solomon, who we've talked about before, and John Updike, who's a major author. And this is just a partial list of the more than 30 contributors to the book. Personally, I really found the book and the essays fascinating on so many levels. We're used to seeing Mickey Mouse as he is today, mainly as the good-natured corporate spokesmouse. And everyone knows he wasn't always like that. And some of the most amazing articles in the book really take a look at Mickey's first 10 years to see how he was treated and how people proselytized him, basically, and to him, paints a really different portrait of what we see as Mickey today. It's sort of like our view of Walt Disney today is so different than the Walt of the 1930s, like with the Walt and El Grupo time period when they're on the South American tour. And he was, I think going to see Walt Disney was probably like going to see a One Direction concert,
That's the weirdest comparison.
Is it?
We're ever going to make. Yes.
Is it? Because it's like Walt and El Grupo could have been a boys band.
I mean, it sounds like a boys band at this point.
It could have been. So
that's our Disney boy band name.
Walt and El Grupo?
Yeah. Performing live this summer at the D23 Expo.
We'll have to get some song titles. So, but I know you got a copy of the book too, and I know you looked, you pawed through it.
I did paw through it. In the intro of the book, Apgar, he really encourages the reader to read the selections however you want, whether at random or in order. But when you read it in order, it's in chronological order, and it's really interesting to see the mouse and its changes throughout the years, and in the different perceptions of Mickey Mouse through the years by different people. But there was one article that was called Mickey Mouse, How He Was Born, that was written by Walt from a 1931 issue of Windsor magazine, which was fantastic, and it was one of my favorites. On the flip side of that, there's also a bit from a Nazi publication, and it was an amazing look at their view of the mouse and how much they hated him, and what what they used him as a symbol for their hatred of America. And it was just really interesting to see the flip side of the coin. It was a peek behind the curtain in a lot of different ways, and because these articles are pulled from all different time periods, some of them were a little repetitive from time to time because of the background information included, but overall, I thought it was a really enjoyable and interesting read.
Yeah, you were right about it felt repetitive, because a lot of these early articles from the 30s and the 40s took the same information from the same PR information that Walt Disney Productions was handing out to press agents.
Yeah.
But Apgar, one thing I forgot to mention, you sort of hit it a little bit, he does put each article in a historical context as well, which is nice. So you get an idea of this was written at this time period, and I just thought it was enjoyable. It was fun, and as you mentioned, you can just flip through and read whatever you want to if you have a specific time period. And to me, the first 3 or 4 chapters were well worth getting the book and reading, just to see how Mickey was seen back in the day.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
To speak, and how he was treated by the world. We see him now as a global corporate store, and back then he was star. Back then he was quite a phenomenon.
He was a phenomenon.
Nobody had seen anything like that. Global.
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
I'm sorry.
This is not the Muppet episode.
My bad. Sorry.
So. Okay, well, so I know we both enjoyed it and recommend it. It is probably for somebody who's a little bit more interested in the history of Mickey Mouse, as seen through the eyes of journalists and critics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn a lot. I think you'll enjoy it. But this week's book was The Mickey Mouse Reader, edited by Gary Apgar.
Yum, 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 yum. If you want to get to know your food, you gotta have a food report.
I recently had something to eat at
thank
California
goodness.
Adventure. Well,
Oh,
I mean,
I
like,
thought you meant in general.
No, not in general. I mean, I do
okay.
eat a lot. I know people are concerned because I am very skinny, but I do eat a lot, so don't worry. But I recently had one of the new coned food items at the Cozy Cone Motel in Carsland, and I thought it was probably worthwhile talking about what the different cones have there, what you can order from them. So at the Cozy Cone Motel, there are 5 different cones that you can order food from. The first one, you can order churro bites, and they have something called Ramon's Pear of Dice Soda, but pear is spelled P-E-A-R, which I've actually had before, and I don't really like pears, but I did enjoy the soda. Go figure.
I love pears, so...
Really? You might like the soda then. I'll buy you one next time.
Okay, we can do it.
Cone number 2 has ice cream, and also has a root beer float. Root, R-O-U-T-E. Come on, guys. They're getting really clever with the car puns here. I'm going to skip over cone 3. I'm going to save that for last. I'm going to go to cone 4, which has pretzel bites and chocolate twists and garlic bagel twists. And their specialty drink is the Red's Apple Freeze, which is okay, I guess. A little too sweet for my liking. Cone number 5 is the one with the flavored popcorn, and everyone loves the pickled flavored popcorn.
Because isn't that what you serve to Luigi's Flying Tigers?
Yes, the pickled flavored popcorn. Callback joke.
You know it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. And then they have the Doc's Wild Grape Tonic as their specialty drink, which I have not had. But mainly, I'm concerned about cone number 3, the one in the middle that has the real food of the Cozy Cone Motel. Their specialty drink is the Fillmore's Fueling Groovy Aid, which is just like lemonade and limeade. It's nothing really important. But
okay, so we got that out of the way.
That's out of the way. Okay. Right now, they offer 3 different cones at the 3rd cone. The first one is the chili cone queso, which has like beef chili and cheddar cheese and corn chips, and there's in a bread cone, and there's also a vegetarian option available. And
what does the vegetarian option come with? Just
it comes with non-beef chili.
Oh, that
it comes with vegetarian chili. That's the only thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Then there's a chicken verde cone, which is smoked chicken and has sauce in it, and it has queso, and it's also in a bread cone. But nowadays, it's a specialty. I don't know how much longer it's going to be there, but they have a macaroni and cheese and bacon cone. Oh. And let me tell you, folks, if you want a little slice of heaven, nothing says that like a macaroni and cheese and bacon cone and a bread cone.
I can imagine. So the real question I know with all the cadets is, will you be in the park, and can the cadets buy you a bacon mac and cheese cone and enjoy it with you?
I mean, if you're gonna twist my arm, I mean, yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. I ate that thing like nobody's business. I ate the entire cone. There was nothing left. It was delicious. I really liked it.
And did Alex get any of his cone, or did you take his too?
No, he had his, and he had more of his than I thought. He actually ate everything inside, and he ate most of the cone, which he doesn't usually do. The cone it literally is a bread cone, but it looks like a traffic cone. But it's delicious, and I would eat that every day, every meal of my life, if that was acceptable.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to my next visit.
So you can have. I hope they still have it when you get here.
Well, I just thought you were going to stock up on them, and that's all we'd eat for a week.
Oh, well, I can do that.
Oh, okay.
Do they sell them in the stores? I'm gonna go to Target after this episode's over and see if I can purchase a macaroni and cheese bacon bread cone thing.
Yeah, ask them at customer service.
Okay, I could do that. I'm gonna go right now. Okay, bye.
Sometimes you might see it, sometimes you don't. Hey, look, what's that? It's a five-legged goat.
Okay, guys, I have to be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure if this five-legged goat is intentional or not, but it's kind of hilarious, and I just noticed it the other day. So, near the end of It's a Small World at Disneyland, where all the goodbye postcards are featured, there are a few oversized postage stamps that are filled with smiling faces. And one of them has a boat and all these smiley, just the faces themselves are there. If you look closely, one of them has everyone's favorite blockhead, Charlie Brown, hidden among all the other smiling faces. So, it may just be random crazy happenstance, but the swiggle of his hair and, the furrowed lip that he has there, it just seems like too big of a coincidence to ignore. So maybe it's a nod to their neighbor Knott's Berry Farm up the street, which does feature Peanuts characters, I'm not entirely sure, but good grief, it is hilarious.
That is a really cool... Well, I have to say like a second cousin five-legged goat.
I'm going to say, yeah, second cousin five-legged goat. That qualifies, I think.
Yeah, we can do that. It's close enough anyway.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Something to look at, so.
Heck yes. So, before we close out this episode, we just wanted to announce this week's winner for the Year of a Million or So Limited Time Cadets, and that is Richard H. from Chesterfield, Missouri. Hooray!
Oh,
thank you, George. I was waiting for you to do that. And you're going to get a copy of The Secret Tour of Disneyland DVD, which we actually reviewed way, way back in Season 1, Episode 51, and it's awesome. And for those of you who have not seen it yet, it's actually about to go out of print. John Delmont, who produced it and directed it, he tells us there's only about 150 copies left, and that was as of about a week ago, so there's probably way less now. So grab one from Amazon while you still can, because it's a really great DVD, and if you don't believe us, go listen to our review back in episode 51.
Yeah, and I know Richard's really going to enjoy it as well. It's a great DVD. It's a lot of fun, and they produced it back at a time when nobody was really doing a lot of the YouTube videos that people are doing today, not like some random vlog or anything like that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, livefastdieport.com. What?
That's one nickel.
Ding!
Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for watching and listening to another episode of Communicore Weekly.
Please leave us a comment, give us a rating on iTunes, or comment on the YouTube version. Wherever you're listening to the show, let us know what you think about it.
And feel free to email us at communicoreweekly@gmail.com. And don't forget to send us your name, your address, and your birthday so you can be part of our special celebration this year.
Yes, please. You guys are never late. You can send them in whenever if you have it. You can send it in October. We're still going to run this promotion until next January anyway, so just send it in if you haven't yet.
Yep.
Also, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Communicore Weekly.
And follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at ImagineNerding. He's at Jeff Heimbuck.
And of course, leave us a message on the Communicore Weekly Goat line at 424-785-4628.
And don't forget to visit CommunicoreWeekly.com and visit the Communistore where you can get t-shirts and a copy of Communicore Weekly, the musical.
Heck yes.
Yes.
And, of course, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to Communicore Weekly, P.O. Box 432, Orange, California, 92856, and I will gladly send you your official cadet membership card and some Communicore Weekly stickers.
And they're numbered, so the sooner you get your letter in there, the lower your number, which is,
Heck
it's
yes.
golf, right? It's Communicore Weekly Golf.
Yes?
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah, sure.
And
why not?
don't forget to support us on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/Communicore Weekly and support us however you'd like each and every month. We promise to keep the show free, but we've got a lot of special surprises in store for you. So for Jeff Heimbuck, I'm George Taylor.
And for George Taylor, I'm Jeff Heimbuck. Thanks so much for listening, guys and gals. We'll see you next time on Communicore Weekly, the greatest online show.